We now come to the fourth question, and Lord Aberdare.
I beg leave to ask the question standing in my name on the order paper.
My Lords, we are investing around £100 million this year in careers guidance for young people and adults. We are supporting schools during the COVID-19 pandemic to develop virtual careers activities for students, including the successful My Week at Work event. The National Careers Service offers impartial careers guidance and advice through a website, web chat and helpline, and will operate an exam results helpline this summer. We will keep this support under review and assess its impact.
My Lords, 800,000 young people are currently leaving education and hoping to join an already overcrowded jobs market. Good careers advice, including personal guidance from qualified professionals, will be essential to ensure all that talent does not go to waste. How will the current careers strategy be renewed and expanded to meet this need? And will the government introduce a careers guidance guarantee complementary to the opportunity guarantee to ensure all young people can access professional personal careers guidance to help them identify and pursue suitable careers pathways?
My Lords, during the pandemic, the Careers and Enterprise Company, alongside teachers, has had to review its delivery strategy, and therefore much of its training and support has been delivered virtually. So we've seen virtual mock interviews, virtual CV preparation sessions, and of course the expectation is on schools that they deliver a personal interview to students at 16 and 18, and we have advised that that should take place virtually rather than by telephone, and over 70% of schools are delivering to the majority of their students that interview at age 16.
Lord Bishop of Down.
My Lords, the Social Mobility Commission recently published an apprenticeships report which highlighted a 36% reduction in the number of apprenticeship starters who were from disadvantaged backgrounds. As we prioritise developing the skills of young people, can the Minister confirm how the new £1.6 billion funding for scaling up training and apprenticeships will be distributed across the country to ensure areas like the North East, with a high proportion of disadvantaged students, have access to quality training?
My Lords, in relation to the traineeships and apprenticeship, this is for the first time that the government will be funding employers who provide trainees with work experience at the rate of £1,000 per new trainee, up to 10 per employer. And there are additional funds available for apprenticeships of £2,000 for every apprentice who is under the age of 25, in addition to the original £1,000 for 16 to 18-year-old apprenticeships. So we're encouraging all employers, including employers in the North East, to take advantage of these schemes and provide the work opportunities that young people need.
Lord Lucas.
My Lords, when I come across organisations who believe that they can help with the government's efforts to provide careers support and guidance to those affected by COVID, whether they be young people or older people who've lost their jobs, what email address or other contact information should I provide them with so that they get a one-stop shop access to all that the government is doing?
My Lords, it's wonderful when employers and other people want to offer their support to the government. In relation to careers advice, the National Careers Service is the government's overarching source of careers information and support. So that would be the first stop. Unfortunately, it's not a one-stop shop. The second stop would be the Careers and Enterprise Company, which, as the Noble Lord is probably aware, one of the three-pronged approaches there is an enterprise advisory network, and over 2,000 businesses and other employers are involved in schools in providing that support. So I would also direct those volunteers to that institution so they can assist schools at this time.
Baroness Cousins.
My Lords, we know that having foreign language skills makes school leavers more employable. Post-COVID and post-Brexit, this will be more so, and there's high demand in finance, telecoms, transport and tourism. So will the Minister include languages as a skills shortage in the National Retraining Scheme for technical education? And will she also promote effective liaison between the careers hubs and MFL hubs to show exactly how language skills expand career opportunities and life choices?
My Lords, the Noble Lady is correct in terms of the importance of language skills, and that is why modern foreign languages has been included in the EBAC. Yes, we do encourage all of the hubs that we have in relation to this area to work together, the Careers Hub, the Modern Foreign Languages Hubs, the English Hubs that we have across the country. And in terms of the National Retraining Scheme, this is currently focused on those over the age of 24 who need to rise up, increase their skills to rise from the income level that they have. That is led by a number of LEPs, and I'm sure that they would welcome the introduction of modern foreign languages to that work.
Baroness Morris of Yardley.
My Lords, all the initiatives that the Minister's referred to that have been introduced are initiatives that have to be accessed digitally. And what we have learnt over these last few weeks is that we have digital poverty. And many young people just do not have an access to a computer, and they fall in the group that most need the support and guidance. What will the government do to help them? And please don't talk or tell me that it's been solved by the government computer initiative, because we know that that's not the case.
My Lords, obviously digital has become important, but the guidance that was issued to schools in September talks about schools having remote learning, that is from the end of September. So that does include, of course, the traditional way of delivering by way of printed packs, which I know that many schools have been doing. So although we have been encouraging the use of virtual one-on-one interviews at age 16 over the telephone, but of course what has been encouraged is for the schools to have some form of one-on-one physical contact with students before the summer holidays.
Lord Storey.
My Lords, all schools will be returning to full operation in September. So could I ask the Minister how access to impartial personal careers guidance can be funded and promoted in schools, including primary schools, making the best use of careers guidance providers with the skills and resources to help young people make informed choices?
My Lords, indeed, the Noble Lord makes an important point that it's good to get involved early. So there is £2 million being spent on primary school education, careers, guidance and education. And there's a specific pilot project involving 70 primary schools up in the North East, working with Ernst & Young to see how the Gatsby benchmarking can be adapted for primary schools. As I've outlined, it is the expectation that all schools will provide a personal interview with 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds before they enter into the job market. And of course there is the local government guarantee for 16 and 17-year-olds to have a place in education or suitable training, which will of course be important, particularly this September.
Lord Baker of Dorking.
I should declare my interest as chairman of the Baker Deering Trust that promotes university technical colleges. Is the Minister aware that on Friday of next week, about 300,000 18-year-olds will leave their colleges and schools for the last time and be joined by tens of thousands of 16-year-olds. And our job as a government and as a parliament is to ensure that as few as possible of those join the ranks of the unemployed. And the government has one very good and potentially successful scheme to allow those students to apply for an extra year's training to get a technical qualification, which will give them a chance of a better job next year. But this is a great secret. It's not talked about generally, it's not being promoted actively. And so could I ask, except in the educational press, but 16 and 18-year-olds don't read the educational press, so could I ask her to ensure that by Friday of next week, every 16 and 18-year-old in the country gets clear information about this scheme, what it consists of, and how they can apply?
My Lords, the government is using digital and traditional ways in order to promote the opportunities that are out there for young people. Many of the opportunities outlined in the skills recovery package are obviously being promoted through job centres, and there is a £100 million fund for 18 and 19-year-old school and college leavers to study a high-value level 2 or level 3 if there is not an employment apprenticeship or training opportunity available to them.
Lord Watson of Invergowrie.
My Lords, the Resolution Foundation recently pointed out that the Corona class of 2020, as they referred to it, could face years of reduced pay and limited job prospects long after the current economic storm has passed, unless additional support is provided and fast. Since March, entire year groups have missed out on university visits, work experience opportunities, and, despite what the Noble Baroness Minister said, much advice from careers leaders in schools. In preparation for a full return of pupils in September, school staff must have the funding and resources they need to deliver that one-to-one support, which enables young people to take advantage of the opportunities available to them after GCSEs. What additional support will the government provide to schools to enable that to happen?
My Lords, the Government has recently announced a £1 billion catch-up package, £650 million of which will go directly to schools, and the formula for that funding was announced today. And the Noble Lord will be aware of the £350 million for the National Tutoring Programme. In relation, of course, though, to within schools, it's essential that there are skilled professionals, and one of the three prongs of the Careers and Enterprise Company's strategy is to train up career leaders, and there have been 1,300 training bursaries that have been given, and there's a further 650 bursaries as we recognise that this is a particular area of expertise, and we expect that some of the £32 million that was announced for the National Career Service will also go on training up and upskilling careers advisors.